gotten to where I want to do a little bit more green woodworking. I had that shave pony where I attached basically a shave horse you hook to your bench. It's not strong enough. I built one out of some 4x4 treated. It's just going to stay outside. Shop ain't big enough to hold it. Doing that, I'm going to need to have the ability to make some consistent tenons on the end of some split hand-shaped wood. Harry Rogers across the Great Pond there. Harry's taste and my taste are along the same lines, smithing and woodworking and leather. Harry does a lot of very nice professional look leather work. He's a blacksmith, woodworker. He dabbles in glass, you know, jack of all trades. And Harry has a rounding plane which is designed to go on the end of a piece of split wood, give you a consistent tenon, basically a glorified pencil sharpener, and give you the ability to get you consistency so you can take your auger bit out, make some holes, and get you some legs together for a stool or a chair, whatever you're doing. Harry's worked out the numbers from the starting size to the end and the angles and everything. He's got some plans out on Etsy that he's done, debugged it, you know, done the trial and error to help you along so you don't have to make so many, especially ruin a bunch of wood. You take a spoke shave and yank the iron out of it, take a chunk of wood and make some cuts and some drill marks and put some handles on it and you build it. And so that's what we're going to do. Alright, so bear with me and see what we can do. Took a truck spring and a lawnmower blade, put them together, made some billets, smashed them, folded it, forge welded it, folded it, forge welded it, put 3 of them together, twisted it, and tried to create a Japanese marking gauge that's from pattern weld steel by hammer. I spent a couple of days playing with this. It was my attempt. So now let's see if we can. Yeah. And my corners are dead on, which is outstanding. Put this in here so I can see it better. Basically, we're just centering it. My exit hole is going to be 3/4 of an inch. My entry hole is going to be 1 inch. Alright? And then we're going to have a 5, 6, 7 degree taper between the 2 holes. So as it goes in, it's going to cut it like a pencil sharpener. I did a test run on a 4x4 and plain iron will sit right there. That's what we're looking at. So right now, I'm going to take the 3/4, go all the way down to full throw with my drill press, take it out, put the 1 inch on the other side, start the 1 inch, go in about a 1/2 inch, then put a 7/8 and go in a little bit deeper, and then we'll taper it out. So now let's do the 3/4. So what I've done is I've taken my awl and I've popped it center. That's pretty much it. Let's get started. This is white oak. Pretty hard. Pretty heavy too. Harry did his in beech or ash. I don't have any beech or ash. There's a bad joke in there somewhere, isn't it? Turn it over to the entry hole. Now we're only going to go down with the 1 inch to the top of the Forstner bit. That'll get us in about a 1/2 inch. Okay? You have to pay attention to this because you want your taper to be right. When we get done, I'm going to drill the meat out in the middle. I'll drop down to a 7/8 and go in about a 1/2 inch. You kind of give me little chunks down to it. And I'll show you the tapering tool that I built. You'll probably like. Alright, here we go. 1 inch hole. Okay, 7/8. Harry shows this done with a machinist lathe, and he also does it by hand tools. Gives you two ways, so whatever methods you've got in your shop, you can have the ability to put this together. I'm using a combination of both hand and mechanical. Alright, 7/8 hole. Not 3/4, I'm sorry. See if we can go all the way through now. You can do it on a machinist lathe and reach up in there and do the taper. You can do it totally by rasp. Here he shows both of those methods. He also suggested in his plans a reamer, and I've been in need of making one as well. What I did is I grabbed a piece of red oak off the fire pile out there, literally. I split it down so it's straight grain, and I stuck it in my lathe and I turned it down. I got me a good taper, drilled a hole through, put a dowel in it, and I went in the house, and those 15 butcher knives, and half of them are made from China that you don't ever use. I took a chef's knife and I cut the end of it off. I drew a straight line, I measured out a little bit, and I made a taper the same width, a little bit wider than my tapering tool. Cut a slot. Now, this is just a flat edge. It's a scraper, it's not a cutter. And I took it and I draw filed it, which you take a file and you pull it down this way to keep that edge flat and straight. It floats, it doesn't have to stay in there, it stays captured because of the taper. Now I'll show you on the pine. So basically the entry hole, 1/2 inch down, you want it to stay consistency to the size that you chose. That was 1 inch. And then the exit hole for 1/2 inch down, you want it to stay the same size for consistency for your exit. So as it comes in, it tapers it down like a pencil sharpener. Now with this being cut away, we can stick this in here and you can see how it tapers. So my workpiece here, I have my entry hole, which is larger, hanging out. Now as it crosses through the end grain, it's going to get a little bit hairy, but just stay with it. This being oak, I'm going to be here a while. Put some music on, and I'll get little bunches where the end grain is, and then I'll just take the rasp and I'll rasp that down. But my goal is to get about a 6-degree taper from this side to the other side with my tapering tool. As you can hear, it's cutting fairly well. If I get any debris. Yeah, see? I'm getting some consistent shavings falling out the bottom. And we're on down. I get to the end, we'll get back with you. Music time. Okay. Now we got to do the layout to take the mouth of the plane out. Okay. The top of the hole, I have the marking gauge set to where that's right at the top. That's the top, so this is the top. I have this marking gauge set to the top of this hole. Got a bevel gauge, marked it set to 30 degrees. I have taken and measured the thickness of my iron, 1/16 of an inch. So we're getting ready to remove this. Okay? We're going to cut a line straight down, and then we're going to set the bed for the iron. Alright, knowing that, we're going to remove this section right here. Okay, so I find where the top of the hole is. I'm going to make me a mark, and then I'm going to subtract the width of the iron. You got to have a place for the iron to bed, and I'm going to go just a touch fat, probably a heavy 16th. So mark that way, and we'll do that. Mark that. Come up there and get that. That's right. Take my knife. You'll get it in a second. I'll draw it with a magic marker. Make me a mark there. Put my knife on that mark. See, that would be square, but it's out. So knowing that, this goes, and this goes all the way down to that second mark. Got to drop the bed of this. This cut has to be the width of the iron. Okay? It's all in your layout. Using that center line. With my knife lines there, now I'm going to make some relief cuts, because I've got to take my saw and remove this section. And I like now, as you know, this line got a 5-degree tilt. Set this up on a bandsaw. Your head would hurt by the time you got it done. Well, if you're going to make 50, you could do it, because once you get your setup right, it'll be right. But this is where hand tools come into play. The setup is the human, my brain, my bones, and my eyes. I've got the line vertical, okay? So I'm going to try to cut these two faces and then spin it, cut these two faces, bring it and meet it. This is the bedding. This is the important part. I want to keep it as flush as I can, because as long as you got meat on both sides with the saw, it's easy to remove the material. Once it's removed, it's a pain to go across that grain with a chisel and sweeten it up. Now this one's just a plain 90-degree cut, no big deal, and then we'll go from there. So, my Ryoba, I've taken my chisel and I've relieved to give me a ledge. So what I'm doing, one, I take my finger and I point at my cut. It's just my method of cutting, okay? Two, my eyes, I do not want to see reflection on the plate at all. I want to see teeth shining at me, line, board. I know that that saw is vertical, because with Japanese saws, they're non-forgiving. If you start them crooked, they will run crooked. The set is so small, it's almost impossible to change mid-cut. I usually close one eye like I'm aiming my gun. Taking the saw and I cut at the top and I bring it down and I cut at the bottom like I'm cutting on a round ledge. That way I can try to keep it tracked on both my lines. That one started. Let's just get on the other side. Alright, get my line straight up vertical, straight up and down. Take me a knife. Cut me a bit of a ledge. Alright, this top is met, and we're doing pretty good. I'm gonna be here a while. Concentration. I already took the ruler and got it kind of centered. Yeah, I'm going to have a good bit of play in here. I'm going to drill a hole. And then I'm going to set the cap iron so it'll hold it, and adjustability will be infinite with it because it's got a lot of slop and a great big old hole. Line them all up. Stuffed in the hole that keeps my oil from going straight down the hole every time I wet it, and it helps keep it cutting, plus keeps the mess down a little bit. This is Harbor Freight's smallest drill press, and I got a set of their bits. These bits are awesome. You can stick it in a 3/8 inch drive or 1/2 inch drive, and it goes from 9/16 up to a full inch. They're sharp as can be. A piece of pin oak here. Good thing about these dowels, the grain runs straight and true. Secret of woodworking is the grain. I don't care how you cut it, how you whittle it, how you whack on it. A little. A little dowel plate here. One-inch dowel plate, random sizes drilled through. Off camera, I grabbed some, I got a cherry stump, called out some handles. I drilled some holes in the end so we can put some handles in there. Knock the irons out of it. Alright, glued up. Starting to look like something. Yeah, as you guys can probably hear outside, it's raining. It's late Sunday afternoon. I don't feel like taking a frolic out in the woods to get some green wood, hickory or some oak or something. So, we got a good old poplar dowel right here. I haven't played with the settings too much, but this is supposed to act like a pencil sharpener. Alright? Let's see what we got. Oh man, look at that shaving. But malfunction, plane iron come loose, and we were on a roll. All right, let's do this. Another dowel in here. What I did is I had just taken a pencil mark and primarily just kind of drew where the plane iron should be. Let's get a little bit tighter. Alright, here we go. Round 2. No adjustment. Oh, it's a heavy bite. That is an extremely thick shaving too. You could lessen that up and get a lot sweeter with it. Hey Harry, I like it. Notice this is one of the only tools with woodworking you point the edge yourself. This is some pin oak. Nice and hard. Put the pencil sharpener in. would say it's a nice round dowel. A little trimming up on that green wood and make a stool leg. 1 million views on my channel. Thank you. 6,000-7,000 subs. Thank you. That's nice. Find. Where'd it go? You know what? I did that side and I did that side. Well, that makes good sense, doesn't it? Let's stay consistent.